So, good evening and welcome to Cittaviveka Buddhist Monastery and the Sunday evening guided meditation. For this evening, I thought we will try a meditation called Marananusati, so the recollection of death. And this can be a very potent or powerful recollection, meditation. So maybe first to say that if you don't feel like this is the time for this kind of recollection, then please feel free to use your normal or a different meditation object like the breath or metta, for example. But the recollection of death is, in my mind, a very important part of the traditional practices, and it's used for many different purposes. But one is to create a sense of urgency, samvega, sense of the importance of not wasting time, of using our time well, of spending our efforts and time on things that really matter, things that really make a difference, to check ourselves, check our conduct, our ethical conduct. How are we behaving? Are we behaving in line with our most sincere intention? How are we spending our lives? It can also help us overcome a sense of laziness or dullness, create motivation. It can also be a very quick way to cut through all the trivial concerns that can cause anxiety and that we can occupy our minds throughout the day. So to recollect death in such a situation can put all those issues, all those things in perspective, and we can see that maybe they are not so important after all. But also to say that this type of recollection needs to be done skillfully, and it can be done either skillfully or unskillfully, so one has to be aware and check the results of this kind of practice. So it needs some care and review as well. And it's also actually very common in forest monasteries to have we don't have it here, but it's very common to have a skeleton up in front at the shrine or near the shrine as a constant reminder of this, a constant reminder of the frailty of the body and also of the end of life. So to always keep that in mind in order to turn the mind towards the spiritual. But as usual, we'll start with some chanting and start on page number 19, dedication of offerings in English. So this is in volume 1, dark brown chanting book. To the Blessed One, the Lord who fully attained perfect enlightenment, to the teaching which he expounded so well, and to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we render with offerings our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generations. May these simple offerings be accepted for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. And we go to page number 66, Reflection on Impermanence. Sorry. Handamayanga nicha nu satipatang panamase sabe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. Sabe sankhara dukkha. All conditioned things are dukkha. Sabbe Dhamma anatta, everything is void of self. Aduvang jivitang, life is not for sure. Duvang maranang, death is for sure. Awasang maya maritabang, it is inevitable that I'll die. Marana pariyo sanang me jivitang, death is the culmination of my life. Jivitang me aniyatang, my life is uncertain.
Maranang me niyatang, my death is certain. Vata, indeed, ayang kayo, this body, achirang, will soon, apeta vinyano, be void of consciousness, chudo, and cast away, adise sati, it will lie at the wing, on the ground, kalingarang iwa, just like a rotten log, niratang, completely void of use, anicca vata sankhara, truly conditioned things cannot last, upadavaya dhammino, their nature is to rise and fall, upajitava niruchanti, having arisen things must cease, tesang upasamo sukho, their stilling is true happiness.
So please assume a comfortable meditation posture. As usual, is trying to find a posture which is comfortable, not too painful, that we can sustain for a considerable amount of time. Where we have the back straight in order to increase our sense of mindfulness, awareness. And the lower body positioned in a way that we have a stable base. Balanced. Posture creates a sense of alertness, but at the same time stability and calmness. And to start off, just taking a few deep breaths to demarcate the beginning of the meditation. Just signaling to the mind that now it's time to draw the attention inwards. Time to direct our attention to developing the mind. Contemplating and reflecting on our existential situation in order to increase understanding, calmness, and when we intend to contemplate maybe challenging or deeper aspects of life, existence, it's important and helpful to prepare the mind by putting it in a calm, mindful, kind, friendly state. This can also lessen the resistance that can otherwise be there in the mind. Resistance to what we might find challenging or maybe don't want to look at, such as death or suffering, impermanence. So first, just to consider and reflect that we're in a peaceful place together with peaceful people. People who share this interest in spiritual practice, spiritual development, investigation of our existential situation, trying to find a lessening or even an end to dukkha, discontent or suffering. And at the same time, as it says in the morning chanting, that all of us are bound by birth, aging and death, by sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair. This is a common bond between us, something we all experience in this life. Something that connects us and most likely have brought us here, brought us the spiritual practice. So this is not something we're alone in, or that's something that's shared between us. But first, to establish mindfulness, anchor the mind, put our attention in the body. And just slowly scanning or going through the body. Relaxing the various parts of the body. But this time also adding a reflection for each body part or section of the body that we go through. Just contemplating, reflecting on the frailty of that part, how easily it can be damaged, injured, or how some kind of disease can arise. Also with a sense of kindness and compassion. So, for example, focusing our attention on the face, maybe relaxing the muscles around the eyes. And at the same time reflecting on how easily the eyes can be damaged. Some accident, get something in the eye, some chemical or a small piece of metal. Moving attention to the jaw and around the teeth, just letting that relax. Also recognizing how teeth can break or fall out. Throat and the neck, same thing, we can just relax, let it be as comfortable as possible. Also reflecting on all the nerves that go through the neck up to the head. If we get some kind of injury in the neck, maybe some whiplash, car accident or similar, how fragile that part of the body can be. Just continuing down through the body like this. And probably when we go through the body in this way, we start to realize just the incredible amount of possible diseases and problems that can occur just in this one body. These reflections and contemplations are also meant to bring to light the vulnerable situation we are in if we attach or identify with the body. If we take that as our center of life, source of well-being and happiness. Of who we are. Start to see the vulnerable position we're in with the body, and perhaps start to realize the need to find something beyond. Maybe we start to see that the many things that we very difficult, or maybe even impossible to control in regard to what happens to the body. Maybe traffic accidents or diseases. And even if these things don't happen, the body still ages. Our sense faculties usually get weaker. Sight, sight, hearing, smell. Maybe we lose our memory or start to lose our memory. Might be more pain, stiffness in the body. Also is the unpredictability of death itself. We don't know when. Is it in 10 years or in 20, maybe 5 years, 2. Maybe even tomorrow. We don't know the time, and we don't know the place. And we don't really know the occasion or the cause. We just know that it will happen at some point. In some way. And that we can't really avoid it. That's the way the body is going. But it can be very difficult to accept or see or bring to our own consciousness our own death. There seems to be some kind of resistance or blockage to contemplate that. Obviously, we see that other people pass away. But somehow we can't quite accept that it will happen to us as well. One traditional way of trying to break through this is to reflect on other great beings who have passed away, beings of great merit, beings of great strength or great physical strength. And of course, even the Buddha and the Arahat disciples, they could not avoid that the body went that way. And then turning that reflection towards oneself. So, if that's the case, how could it be different for me? And if that's my situation, what can be done about it? Using that realization or reflection to get the perspective on one's life, on one's conduct, how one spends one's time. To make sure that we use our time well on things that we found really meaningful, beneficial. And see if we are following the Buddha's recommendation of trying to find something that transcends death, a refuge when the time will come. The Buddha talks about the deathless, that without death, without change. And to remember that we might not have all the time in the world to make an effort to find that, to realize that. that it might become increasingly more challenging to practice or develop the mind when the body starts to degenerate, lose our faculties. At the same time, we can reflect that we have this opportunity. We have this situation with a sense of gratitude, appreciation. We have come in contact with the Buddha's teachings. And that he promises that there is something beyond the body, something that transcends death. But it's up to each person, each individual, to put forth the effort to practice. And of course, we try to help each other as much as we can. But in the end, as it says in the chant, it's to be realized by each wise person for themselves. And we can finish on chanting on page 49, Reflection on the Unconditioned.
Handamayang nibbana sutta patang banamase ati bhikkhave ajatang abhutang akatang asankatang. There is an unborn, unoriginated, uncreated and unformed. No cetang bhikkhave abhavisa ajatang abhutang akatang asankatang. If there was not this unborn, this unoriginated, this uncreated, this unformed, Nayidang jata sabhuta sakata sasankata sanisaranang panyayeta. Freedom from the world of the born, the originated, the created, the formed, would not be possible. Yasama chako bhikkhave adi ajatang abhutang akatang asankatang. But since there is an unborn, unoriginated, uncreated and unformed, Tasma jata sabhuta sakata sasankata sanisaranang panyayati. Therefore is freedom possible from the world of the born, the originated, the created and the formed.
And finishing with the closing homage in English on page 29.
The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow